I'm out here in the garage working. I've got on the Rockler website and downloaded their PDF file for all the various routers. Mine wasn't listed, but it is symmetrical with the Craftsman, just the wrong dimension. So I used the big print from Matthias and got it to scale to the Black & Decker. So I'm going to be sandwiching, make 2/4 inch pieces of plywood to make 1/2 inch for the template. Okay, we're making 1/2 inch plywood out of 1/4 inch plywood. I put the two B sides together so that the two A sides are on the outside. And when that gets all dried up, I'll just use some adhesive to put this on and cut the outer border of the template in the bandsaw, and probably use my hole saw to cut the middle out, and then I'll center and drill the holes. I'm sure glad I brought this router base template that I'm making. Brought it out here first because it would have sat on there crooked with the handles like this. So being that these should be perpendicular to the front deal, I need to center my holes here, and I'll just use this as the centering guide rather than use the ones that are printed. Here's the update. I've got the holes properly drilled so that my handles are straight across the front, so that I can just reach underneath the table, loosen that lever, and crank my bit height. There it's gone, and they're coming up. So I don't think I'll have to mess with the router lift. This one works pretty good, and it holds it in place, and you just lock it up. My next step will be to take the actual router base and center it on this 3/4 inch plywood board. Well, I cut the rabbets off the doors, and I did my best at keeping the this decorative trim centered all the way around. So now I'm going to make sure I get this centered, trace it, and then go in about 1 inch so I can make a rabbet, so this entire 1/2 inch piece will fit flush with the tabletop. I traced the outer edges of my template board that's going to go down in here, and I went back this direction 3/8 of an inch, and I'm going to cut it now with the jigsaw and sand it up and keep routering with my 3/8 inch rabbet until I can get that other router piece to fit flush in there. So I've got the center piece cut out, and now I'm going to cut a 3/8 inch rabbet here with this bit. This will be the first time I'll use this particular router to use this. And I'm going to sneak in on the depth. Got 1/2 inch plywood, but I've got it set to 0.490. So I'm going to see how close it is and then ease up on it. So I've got the rabbet cut. I haven't tried to see if it'll fit, but we'll give it a try here. But I went ahead and took a block plane here because I noticed it was just a little bit high, but I got this to where it fits in good and snug, and the router will be underneath there. So the next step will be to get some legs for this baby. It's day 3 on the project, and before I do the legs, I'm going to cut some dados from about halfway to the back on both sides to make room for my fence. And I think I'm going to not use this one because it overwhelms it. Cut me a dado so that I can use this miter fence across the front. But I've got the dados in for my miter guide to slide through. I got to do a little bit more sanding on it, and I made it tight on purpose because I didn't want it to be wobbly. But I've got the T-slots in for my fence that I'll be building. This day has become just a little bit more productive. I still have to contour my side legs, but I got everything just kind of dry fitting, setting up here. I've got my French cleat, and I went ahead and put an interior rail to give support to the legs and have some more for the French cleat to screw to. I got a rail up here, and I got enough offset so if I need to use a C-clamp I can. I taped both of the two sides together and used a 2-inch Forstner bit in the corners, and then kind of angled it out and cut it with the bandsaw. But everything is glued up, and with my diagonal brace across there, it is square. I glued it and screwed it. So we're going to wait for it to harden up overnight, and then I'm going to turn it upside down and hopefully get it mounted. Okay, it's about mid-morning, and I finally got the top glued down, and I screwed it in just a few locations, 3 across the back on the corners, and then I've got it clamped, glued. I'm gonna wait till it glues before I put any more fasteners in, but I kind of contoured the front so that I could get better access to the controls of my router. So last night I made the fence assembly, and Bob, for you, I'm finally now getting to use those knobs that I made, but it's in the T-track, and there's a cutout, and right here is a 4x4 block that I'm going to shape and put an angle on it and drill a big orifice for my shop vac. I wouldn't attempt this dust port unless I had a drill press. I'm going to give you just a quick view of what it looked like. This is the main port where the hose goes, and then at a 45-degree angle I drilled this hole to go down into there. So when the fence is going to be connected to it, it'll look like this. I hope it works. It's a cool rainy Wednesday morning here in Missouri, and this morning I've put 2 coats of white paint on my router table, and the insert is going to be a baby blue to match my T-tracks, and there you can see the little tool holder there. It's coming along. I'm happy and pleased with it. I'm just about ready to go to bed, but I got the router table completed with the T-tracks installed. I've got my second clear coat on my fence with the T-track installed, and I just finished putting the blue on my router insert. Just wanted to give an update that I got the table and the fence assembly all completed. Everything's mounted and ready to go. Now I've just got to make a few accessories like a bit guard, a featherboard, and a couple stop blocks that will work in these T-slots, and I'll be finished with it.